Behind me is a car that is very, very special, not only to vintage racing, but to racing in general. This car, driven by Tony A2Z Adamowicz in 1968, won the under 2-liter championship. Now, most people think of Tony Adamowicz as being a Formula 5000 driver. Well, of course, he's very well known for his 69 championship in the Eagle. But now I'm joined by owner Jonathan Seeger and Tony A2Z Adamowicz. Can you come here and talk to me, guys? Yeah, it's like I have to beg you guys.
No,
come on over here. Come on over here. All right. First of all, Tony, most people think of you as a Formula 5000 driver. Now, this is kind of at a vintage event. This is a much different thing. Actually, seeing you attached to yet another championship-winning car.
Well, if it wasn't for the championship-winning car in 1968 for Porsche, I wouldn't have been able to do the 5000. So that was my stepping stone. I went from a 2-liter car to a 5-liter car in a Formula car concept. Never raced a Formula car in my life. Never ever. So that was a big jump.
So now you've been united here with Jonathan Seeger,
right,
who is the proud owner of this lovely Porsche 911, also known as U27.
Yes.
Where maybe you can tell me a little bit of the history and how you came about getting the car.
Well, I export vintage Porsches to Holland and Germany, and a friend of mine, Paul Kramer from Auto Kennel, gave me a call one day, and he goes, "This is really not your formula, Jonathan, but maybe it'll get your foot in the premier events, and it'll achieve what you've always told me that you wanted to, which was to be part of the culture that wasn't in the sales end. I love Porsches. The Porsche courses through my veins, and the race culture is something that it was a dream deferred, and now I have the chance to be a part of it and to vicariously and in real time maybe learn how to drive on the track and have some fun. And I've got the best teacher on the planet.
I was going to say, you got a good teacher.
An iconic car here, and we've got history. I mean, this is history, and more history.
Yeah.
And this is what's amazing.
You know what? Now, I hate to tell you this, Adamowicz, but you are history.
Yeah, I'm history, all right. No question about it.
But but really, I mean, how does it feel to be reunited with this car with such enthusiasm behind it?
Well, I think it's pretty exciting, actually. It's a real compliment for what the car did back in 1968, and now to have this car doing the same thing out in the public and in competition with vintage cars of its own kind, you know. So it's doing a great job.
Now, I was fortunate enough to go for a ride with you this morning, and you were laying down some rubber, and you know, we were doing a little bit of four-wheel drift through the corners, and it really gave me an idea of what it must have been like back in the day. Does it take you back when you drive this car?
Yeah, every time you get back into a car like this that you've done well with, it does take you back. No, the car is, you know, it's a short wheelbase car. So the car is a little bit more of a handful for the average person, but it also makes a little bit more of an agile car too with drifting. You don't do four-wheel drifts all that often, but on occasion you do.
And Jonathan, have you had much of a chance to actually drive the car?
Yes and no. Never on the track, but the day I got it, I took it around the block to everybody's chagrin. I think it was a Sunday and there was a lot of sleepers in. But you know, the car is just, I could feel it, I can tell. I build early Porsches, and this thing has what it takes, and it's just, what's really amazing to me is the synergy, how this collective is so much larger than just a car and a person and a purchase. You know, it's bringing history back to the present with a future. And for me, I mean, it was a very intuitive purchase. It had nothing to do, I certainly didn't think with my noggin, I thought with my heart. And the chemistry of having Tony back in the car, it intuitively told me when Paul was telling me, you know, Tony is really, really attached to this car because it was the inceptionary launch pad to an involvement that really put him on the map. Oh, yeah. And this car and the wins that were achieved, here we have very low budget production in 1968. 3 guys with a vision that totally slaughtered $1 million funded race teams and left everybody scratching their heads, you know?
This is where you come out with this junkyard dog moniker that you've got on the jackets. By the way, I like this. Let the dogs out, and but that's what they call them.
Tell you what, that was the nickname that they fondly gave to the car, because the car did come out, the original framework and the original profile of the car actually came from a junkyard, the shell.
Now, my understanding was the car was wrecked at Daytona, is that right?
No, this car, the very, very first car that we built was wrecked at Daytona by the car owner. It rolled it on the infield. That car was a total separate car. We took it back to Wilton, Connecticut, stripped it down, took all the good parts out of it, and waited for a donor car that came from the New York City Police Pound. And that's where you get the junkyard dog, because when it came to us, it was completely stripped, and then we had to build a car from February and be at a racetrack at Sebring in March. So we also had transportation time. So we built the car, ran it at Sebring. The car was very impressive. The compliments from Porsche were incredible. Baron von Honstein made a special trip over to our hotel. He was the Porsche team manager, and just complimented us on what a great car we built. They had not seen anything like that in Germany. So they had not seen anything like that ever. So we just had so many unique refinements on the car that it just left them just in awe of the car.
And naturally, you then came in with this junkyard dog and effectively spanked the competition.
Yes. This car, the provenance of this car has to do with performance. And it won 6 out of 10 races, finished second in 2 others. And it just annihilated the competition, but it also frustrated the heck out of the 5-liter Camaros and Mustangs and so forth, because the car was always ahead of them.
That's amazing. So having this kind of history in the stable now, and the fact that you deal in Porsches, you're used to having them come and go very, very quickly. Do you have a lot of future plans for this car?
Well, you know, I really want to hang on to it for dear life, to be honest with you. It's just that first I want to segue to one thing. God bless our troops. Where in the world does a military base demilitarize and civilianize for a weekend like this? It's just a mind blower, this whole thing. And as far as the history of the car and my end game with it, it's yet to be seen. But I think that the undercurrent of my motives is to keep it, enjoy it, ride the wave, make friends, and have fun.
That really is kind of the spirit of vintage racing. And, you know, here with 1968 Trans Am under 2-liter champion Tony Adamowicz, Jonathan Seeger, and the 1968 championship winning car